Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I am your host, Tiffany Daniels, and Merry Stupid O'Clock to one and all. Before we get started this morning, a few disclaimers. The usual. And first disclaimer, I apologize for my hair this morning. See, my hair is basically a barometer, and the poofier and frizzier it gets, the more likely there's probably going to be a storm in the area. But that's neither here nor there, folks. Alright. Usual disclaimers, you are going to find the massive train wreck of a report by Judge Isaac Bernstein right there in the description box, including the massive archive from Hints It Comes on Autistic Hoya's main page. It's got a bunch of links to all the material, or a good majority of it, involved when it comes to the Judge Rotenberg Center. Also included is a video that gives a brief 18-minute synopsis. Yes, I said 18 minutes is brief. You'd be surprised how involved this particular case is and how many lawsuits have been against it. Well, against this school. But yeah, there is also the 18-minute video that goes over a brief synopsis of what the victims at the JRC go through. Also included, guys, is the templates. These templates are designed where all you have to do is fill out your name and click on your senator. The templates featured in the description box is to stop improper restraints and adversive for being used in schools against people with disabilities. So please, folks, click on those templates, get them sent in, and click on your senator, all right? Also included in there is the ever-present Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Because we all know it, folks. JRC, in spite of causing the death of 6 people, sorry, I can't count this morning, 6 people, yet they are still in operation. This place seems to always win on a pill. They're real slippery bastards, folks. So please, go again, sign it, and share it on all your social media. Now, when we are talking about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of, as well as seeing clips taken from surveillance video footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you have young children present, please go ahead and use your headphones. Also, folks, for the love of Pete, it is 3:49 a.m. in the morning. Nobody should be up at this hour. So, if I stumble over my words this morning, or if I just get really cranky, as tends to be the case before my second application of caffeine for the day, my apologies in advance. I will try to be good this morning. Also, folks, remember 4:30 Central Standard Time, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, 10:30 UK time. We are going live this afternoon because today is my Friday. And we are doing open chat, so please make sure to not miss that. I will try to get the flyers and links out this morning for everyone, but we'll see. We got to play it by ear here. Still debating whether I'm doing another JD versus AH video. But not the point. Let's go back to where we left off yesterday. Current GED application policies and procedures. Here we go, folks. Square your arms. Let's get ready for some stupid. Alright, here we go here. The DVR Monitoring Office is not authorized to call staff and instruct them to consequent GED behaviors or give additional numbers of GED consequences. Well, if that's the fact, JRC, why do they exist? Why have a DVR department? That is my question. What is the point to having cameras literally everywhere, including the bathrooms, if you are not going to authorize them or to pinpoint behaviors? Because that's what the DVR office is for, folks. They have surveillance footage all over that school, depriving these kids of any kind of form of privacy. And they search for behaviors to pinpoint. Pinpoint means shock, people. Pinpoint means shock, just in case anybody is wondering. So, if they do not have the authority to instruct staff to shock a student, why do they exist? And how do JRC get away with saying they don't have that authority? Well, they've covered their asses. Basically, the DVR staff tells the staff to pinpoint a behavior. That staff is then supposed to confirm that with the clinician on the JRC payroll, and then everything's hunky-dory, right? No, wrong. You all are psychopaths. But I digress. Let's get back to where we were before I go on a rant. Only a clinician can authorize GED application beyond the increments of 10 per day. See? Told you. A clinician on the JRC payroll. You have to excuse me, Judge, if I don't think they are going to be the best judges on whether someone should be given painful skin shock sessions, considering they didn't take their oath of do no harm very seriously. The clinician will notify the supervisor as to how many additional applications can be made without further authorization. However, the additional amount can never exceed 10 without requiring additional authorization. The clinician then notifies the assistant to the director for programming and monitoring of the student's GED authorization. Employees are instructed that they should never follow direction from anyone if it is inconsistent with the policies and procedures that the employee has been taught during orientation, training period, or through other means. Bullshit. You all are authoritarian dictators. You literally have your employees on a goddamn point system like the students. You really think they're going to be, have the good judgment to question orders? If they had good judgment, they wouldn't be working for your ass. If they had good judgment, they would realize 3 weeks of training is nowhere near enough training to be dealing with the population that you all have them dealing with. Just saying. Employees are told to be alert to the possibility of hostile persons making unauthorized calls to the JRC and impersonating JRC supervisors. Oh, because only you can authorize torture, right, Judge? Only the clinicians and the courts get to decide who can be tortured and who can't. Thanks, Massachusetts. That's just stellar. Good God, what is wrong with these people? All GED applications must be reported immediately according to protocol. Because that makes it better, Judge, seriously. Pre-verification procedures are not used. Each GED application must be verified at the time the behavior occurs. So, riddle me this, Batman. What behaviors can a student possibly be having in their sleep? Because you assholes are still making those kids wear those to bed. So, my question is, if you are not allowed to pre-verify shocking a student, if you have to get the clinician's approval every single time, why the hell are these kids being forced to wear the GEDs to bed? You have to forgive me if I don't believe you when you sit there to say we only shock them when the behaviors occur. Bull fucking shit you do. Then why are they wearing them to bed? Number two, you all people are verifiably completely insane. I don't care if they have a behavior and then you shock them, it's still torture, okay? The hell is wrong with people? God. Moving on. Oh, God, folks. Okay. Square your shoulders. This is going to be some awful, awful stuff we're getting ready to read here, okay? Delivering GED consequence. Staff observes inappropriate behavior. Okay, let's define inappropriate behavior as we've known it so far and as was so kindly shown by Jennifer Masumber's behavior sheet. Let's recall exactly what those are. Okay, first, anything that's non-compliance. Now, what do they consider non-compliance? Stopping work for longer than 5 seconds. Asking more than once to go to a bathroom when the question was not answered the first time. Standing up out of your seat. Yeah, they consider that inappropriate behavior. Oh, let's continue. Blinking for more than 5 seconds. God forbid they have something in their eye. Crying out or making any kind of noise, because God forbid we show any kind of distress because we're in pain or sick. The list goes on as to what they consider inappropriate behaviors, even harmless stimming, like this. But moving on, and then gets the recording sheet and remote trigger or GED sled. God, you are sick. Staff should be discreet in front of the student. Okay, so folks, that is a real fancy way of saying the staff should not alert the student when the shocks are coming. I guess they're under this false assumption that if they don't know they're coming, they'll be relaxed. Not how it works, folks. They're anticipating that torture. The hell is wrong with you? Any delays to delivering the GED consequence must be limited to 30 minutes. Oh, like that makes it better. So for 30 minutes, they are sitting there in complete, utter fear and anxiety. But you think it's better, Judge, because they are only waiting 30 minutes before the next session of torture occurs? Good God. And I also call bullshit because, again, what behaviors can they possibly be having in their sleep, Judge? And yet they have to wear them to bed, don't they? But I notice you conveniently don't address that fact, do you? When it's been documented by private investigators who are not attached to the school, who has witnessed and seen this through surveillance and with their own eyes. Oh, and here we go. A student can never receive a GED consequence for any behavior that was witnessed by a staff member that was not present, nor a behavior that happened more than 30 minutes prior. But they twist that idea of witness. What I mean, what if they see it too? It's the surveillance footage. Well, then that technically makes them a witness now, doesn't it? These all folks bend their own so-called rules until they break to justify this. Moving on. Anytime a student exhibits a GED targeted behavior that has a listed consequence of multiple GED applications, the designated supervisor must call and obtain approval from only the student's clinician prior to delivering the GED consequence. I want to know in which sick fuck's mind that it is ever okay to determine a behavior should result in several shocks that are coming from a device that is running on 45 milliamps? What the actual hell? Really? Did Andre McCollins deserve 31 shocks from that particular device for simply removing his coat? These people, they're psychotic and sick. Moving on. Before administering the GED, staff must confirm the name on the recording sheet, the behavior, the consequence, and the name on the remote with another staff member. Judge, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Well, if they just take proper notes, what the is wrong with you? Why do you think this is okay? Gah! Administer the GED. If the GED fails while delivering the consequence, staff must first check to see if the LED light is activated. Oh, God. God forbid the kid get a reprieve. If it is activated, staff must not deliver additional applications with that unit and must remove the unit from the student. If the LED is not activated and the student is wearing multiple units, staff should use one of the other units. God, what's wrong with you people? The student is not wearing multiple units, staff should make additional checks to ensure the unit is connected and applied properly. If a GED is misapplied, spontaneously applied, or duplicated, staff must notify the monitoring department and fill out a GED trouble report and incident report. Monitoring must then notify the student's case manager and clinician. God knows you gotta keep those torture devices in tip-top shape. If none of the student's devices are working, only a clinician, monitor, or member of the programming department can approve removing the device from the student and borrowing another student's device. Oh my God, Judge, you just called bullshit on your own determination. You remember when you said that the monitor could not authorize shocking a student? Explain this sentence to me. If none of the student's devices are working, only a clinician, monitor, or member of the programming department can approve of removing the device from the student and borrowing another student's device. You see what I call bullshit? Even this judge is lying. The level of corruption that is involved in keeping this place going is completely mind-blowing. If a GED device must be removed for any other reason, approval is not required. However, staff must notify the monitoring department. Dear God. The lies, the corruption, and the greed that keeps this place afloat turns my stomach. Immediately after delivery of a GED application, the staff must report the application to the appropriate department, because that makes it better. If the application is made at the JRC school building during a field trip or during a doctor's appointment, the notification must be made to the monitoring or nursing. Again, if they have no authorization, why are they being notified? Just saying. For residences staffed with monitors, GED applications must be reported to nursing staff. During overnight hours, notification must be made to the overnight school supervisor and the nurse. All right. We're going to go ahead and close out on that one because I don't know if I can stomach too much more this morning. I got to get my numbers up again. I did fantastic yesterday, but I got to get my numbers up again, and I probably won't be able to do that if I'm pissed. So, on one hand, this judge is trying to convince us that the DVR monitoring people, the people who tell the staff if someone is having a behavior and that they better pinpoint it and shock the student or else, they're trying to tell us that they have no authorization in order to tell anyone to shock a student. Then the judge goes and freaking null and voids his own argument by later stating that the DVR office has the ability to give authority to remove a device and use a device from another student. So which is it? Do they have the authority or not? I'm going to say they absolutely do. And the only thing that the JRC is doing is they are using this judge in order to give themselves a veil of, let me see, I'm trying to think here. They're trying to give them like a veil of professionalism that everything's being done above board. Torture isn't above board, ladies and gentlemen, but they do everything they can to make it seem like it's an actual treatment as opposed to what it is. And people like this judge who bend over backwards to lie for them. I have seen it on internet, folks. I've seen it in videos on this center where we have apologists coming in, but they're the worst of the worst of the worst. I don't care. No one deserves to be tortured like that. Sleep deprived, starved. 6 people have died under this place's loving care. Anywhere else would have been shut down. If this treatment was used at Guantanamo Bay, this treatment was used on war criminals, if it was used in jails on the most violent repeat offenders, people would lose their minds. Yet they will bend over backwards to justify it in regards to using it on disabled people. And they never question themselves as to why that is. All they do is continue to justify, but they hit themselves and hurt others. I'm like, so they abuse themselves, so the answer is to abuse them further, and they never think about the logic. Ever. They are using corporal punishment against people due to behaviors that come from our neurology that bother them. But it's like spanking a child. It might deter us for 5 minutes, but when we are no longer under the threat of harm, guess what? The behaviors return and nothing is actually learned. So what do we learn from this? At some point, it just becomes torture for torture's sake. And with those words, folks, I'm going to go ahead and close out for this morning. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. Please, folks, feed that algorithm. Also, positive thoughts, prayers, whatever you do, please send them in my general direction today. I am trying to make up for the past 2 days before yesterday of just complete, utter, horrible numbers days with my job. So, yeah. Please. And last reminder before we go. 4:30 Central Standard Time, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, 10:30 UK time. We are going live because, as we all know, Monday is my Friday. So please be there, folks. Last week we had one of my actually autistic folks who came on with us, who was actually a customs officer during the whole Australia incident with AH. You never know who might show up, so please, folks, make sure to be there. All right, I do appreciate your time this morning, and as always, we here at Spelling Tea hope you have
A good one.
bye bye.